Hello. And of course, I did it wrong. Got
Oh
temper
no.
and Papa Gnosis are in the wrong spot. Let's do that real quick. We'll flip that around. I'll talk to you a little bit as we're going here. But we're going to be playing some Symbaroum tonight. It's been a while, so uh looking for really smooth gameplay. Go somewhere else because we're just learning this game. So um, you're gonna see us trying to figure out how it works, and yeah, that's just how it is. But this is a continuation of a campaign we kind of started. We did the narrative tutorial, which was what about two? I guess we'd call it 2.5 sessions. It took us to get through that, and now we are playing this adventure, which is called the Howling of Damned Gods, and fits right up with where our story was leading us. We were coming from the old country of Alberetor, and our characters were trying to head north to get into the Queen's um, new country of Ambria. So we're going to be picking this one up right at the kind of southern border of Ambria. Um, And I don't know if I told you guys this. I actually played part of this adventure. I played part of it at GameholeCon last year, and unbeknownst to me, I was playing it with the creator of Symbaroum. Yeah, and I
Oh
had no idea
wow.
that that was who I
Huh.
was playing with. But he had a heavy European accent, and it just dawned on me later. I was like, wait a minute, what did he say his name was? And so it was kind of funny, but um,
I thought it was like an undercover boss situation for a second, but
yeah. No, it was and like kind of like one of those. How did I even get the spot in the game when I wasn't looking for it? Like I would have thought like other people that were looking for that kind of a game or access to the creator would have filled up that game. But somehow I stumbled on it, and it was a lot of fun. So I remember thinking like as I was playing it, like man, he knows a lot. Like he's really bringing this world to life for me. He seems to have an answer for everything. That's amazing. Okay, that's why. Um, so anyway, yeah, I can attest that I had a lot of fun playing it. So I hope you all will as well. I guess just for announcements, we are celebrating our 7-year anniversary this month, and we are doing that in a couple of ways. One is we are doing a fundraiser for the Center for Suicide Awareness. So um, the donation link is there in the chat if you would like to make a donation. Um, Help support the campaign. Your donations can of course redeem rerolls and healing boons and wandering encounters and all that kind of fun stuff. I know that Casey redeemed something earlier for a name an NPC, so I have to make that happen during the game here. So we'll deal with that at some point here. Um, but yeah, the link is there. We're gonna follow this up. We're gonna have a special game on next Friday on the 19th, I want to say at 8 p.m. We're going to be running an X Crawl Classics Level 0 funnel with some of the folks. And if we raise $500 either before then or during that game, we'll be doing some giveaways of like 20 sides, hoodies, and pullovers, and whatever I still have left in my box for swag items. So um, support that. All right. So basically, to recap where we last left off, you all had been traveling through the Titans, heading north from the old country. You had sort of a bit of a harrowing journey. We don't have to recap everything that happened, but needless to say, the caravan that you've been traveling with is less than it was when you started. Lost some folks along the way to deaths, and in one case we had the one black cloak. I think her name was Lestra. The group had allowed her to take away one of the group that was Um, is that how that went? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, they were corrupted, and
That is how that went. She was going to
Lester was
take him
taking them to
away.
the monastery or whatever.
That is, yeah. For some reason, I was second guessing that as I was saying it. I was like, "This is that ultimately what they decided?" I don't remember. Okay, yes. So, anyways, that was sort of like the last big thing that happened was dealing with that. So, uh, I think we kind of left off with you all looking down upon this scene of all of these little campfires that are set up on the southern end of this pretty large river, um, which is the River Veloma, and that makes up the southern border of Ambria. And there's a little bit. I'll move the map here so the Twitch audience can see what I'm talking about. So on the southern end, there is this island that kind of juts up, maybe about 40 to 100 meters across from the southern shore, and there's like a fortification that is built up on this island. There's a keep and like a very very small town of maybe 100 people that lives there. Um, and basically, your the wagons that you've been traveling with have gone down into the refugee camp now, and you've set up. And basically, you got set up um, together, staked a little claim of a bit of land that hadn't been taken yet by other refugees, and the caravan master Argosto had gone forward um, to kind of get queued up and set a meeting because there's a whole bunch of like bureaucracy that you have to go through here at the border. Like you have to set up a meeting with one of the magistrates and go through an interview. You know, it's like a very rigorous immigration procedure to get in. And as you can see with how many refugees are here, it's a slow going process. It's not a guarantee that the Ambrians, that the Queen's um, forces here at Prios Pass are going to allow people through. But the idea is you want to get greenlit, you want to get your immigration papers, and you want to be granted admission past the gate and across the bridge that leads to the island. From there, there's a wharf on the north side of the island, and there, um, that is where people take either small private boats that ferry people from the island to the northern shore, or there are also some ferries that can take wagons and things like that as well. So that is the dream, that is the hope, and that is the goal. And Argosto, um, as I'm sure the group is kind of figured out, he is resourceful. He wasn't a nobody back in the old country, so um, he's kind of pushed his way forward. He's maybe doing some name dropping or whatever he needs to do, but one way or another, he was able to get a meeting. He was allowed to take one person with him, and so Jomilo, who has a military background, and that carries some weight with the people here at Prios Pass, many of them former military themselves, he's decided to take him ahead with him for that meeting. And I see that there was a donation and my eyes are getting old, so I can't see this. But I think it was Bosco. And if my screen, it looks like maybe it's a $10 donation. So thank you for that. Um, let me know what you'd like to redeem that for. I apologize. I don't have all of my screens are currently used, so I can't like see the Tiltify page. But if you let me know that those are for, hopefully you're redeeming player rerolls because I know there's a DM reroll thing in there, but I don't roll any dice, so it's probably useless to redeem that one for this particular game since Symbaroum is a GM. GM doesn't really make too many rolls if ever. So, but thank you so much for the donation. We really appreciate that. I think that brings us up to say like $340 some that we've raised so far. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. So 2-player rerolls, please. Yes. Okay. So group, you've got 2 rerolls in the pool here as we get started. So that's awesome. Thank you for that. Just gonna make a note here of that. So you all are kind of just you're in waiting. Like basically Augusto has gone forward. He's sort of your representative of the entire caravan to try to get things in order so you can get past. But you have really no idea how long it's going to take him because you know you're the expectation is it could be up to a week, but honestly it could be up to a month or more. Like you really don't know how long this whole process is going to take. And so your status here in the refugee camp is sort of indefinite. Probably a lot of anxiety that goes along with that. The refugee camp isn't. I wouldn't say it's like super seedy and like there's like a ton of crime necessarily going on, but it isn't policed. There are there are 3 watchtowers. You can see those reflected on your map if you look at the camp. There are 3 kind of one here, one towards the middle, and then one on the eastern side. Each of these watchtowers generally has like 3 to 4 Ambrian guards that watch over the camp, but they're not police. Like they don't get out and they're not trying to mitigate problems between refugees. Like they're there for defensive purposes to make sure there's not a riot or something that's going to go and storm, the front gate where the bridge is there. I've been giving a lot of like just kind of upfront information about what you've observed because basically you guys will have been here. We're gonna say you've been here for 4 days. It's been 4 days since you've seen Argosto, and so you're just like waiting around. So these are just all things that you've observed from your time being in the camp. Um, so speaking of riots, or like if that ever would be the case, it would sort of be a pointless gesture. And you'll know that because you'll have seen that you see that span there's a stone bridge that connects the southern shore to the island. That bridge is like I want to say it's at least 40 meters long. So it is quite a span. Like if anybody gets on that bridge, the people on the island are going to see it. And the northern end of that bridge is not stone. It's wooden. And it's got chains that are attached to a winch that are on the other side, and that can be pulled up. So even if there was some kind of army that came here to attack the island, they're in a very very defensive kind of position to prevent entry onto the island. Um, Based on I guess a couple of other things that there's a lot of people that are here. There's got to be at least probably 150 or so refugees that are camped out here on the that are now your neighbors for the foreseeable future. Um, People are fairly well nourished. There are 2 soup kitchens that are sponsored by the Queen, and the provisions are surprisingly um, not. It doesn't seem like they're like scrimping on ingredients or expense. Like the meals are fairly decent, and so people are at least getting their bellies full. As it is winter and it is cold, and keeping everyone uh, sustained and warm seems to be the priority. Um, but yeah, I think as we open here, maybe we'll have each of you kind of reintroduce your character to us and maybe just tell us a little bit about. It doesn't have to be anything dramatic, but what does their day-to-day look like while they're in the camp? Anything in particular that your character has been doing in terms of routine, or just what have they been up to the past couple of days? Whatever you want to say about that. A good way to kind of ease us into it, I think. So, I don't know, Robyn. Maybe we'll start with temper. And I guess you have an additional detail that I want to hear about because you still got Keller with you, and so I'd like to hear how that is going.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, Temper is an ogre. She sees herself as a bodyguard as well. She usually finds somebody that is going to be her new best friend, and in this case, has literally attached herself to someone. She right now is literally attached to Keller because we don't trust him. But I would imagine over the last few days, you know, she was challenging him to like arm wrestling competitions and trying to get him to be stronger. Maybe he's growing on her. I don't know. So unless somebody takes him away from her, Temper's just gonna be hanging out with Keller and trying to teach him to be stronger and able to protect himself. It might look like she's torturing him, but that is not her intention. It is to strengthen him. So that's what Temper's been up to.
So he is still like I don't know,
Yeah,
bound to like your wrist is what it is, right?
yeah, we were handcuffed together or something. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, manacles. Maybe that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So
Um,
unless someone takes her friend away, that's what Temper's doing.
yeah, I don't think anyone's going to probably put up. Certainly not for him. Uh, any kind of protest on that. So awesome. Let's go next to Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan Garthok here. I'm playing Papa Gnosis, who over the course of our sessions, it's been revealed that he is both a changeling and an independent mystic who's posing as a priest of Prios. So I want to say, yeah, and pretty much this group of people, that our crew is the only people that really know that about him. Uh, so I want to say, he's probably in the camp. He's probably been like using his shape shifting ability, by like interacting with different people throughout the days, kind of walking about camp as them throughout the nights, maybe getting a couple grifts going to, uh, get probably what constitutes as currency in a camp like this, things like cigarettes and little snack foods and stuff like that. So he's probably, he has kind of lived the refugee life for a while, just being a refugee from society. So he's kind of doing what he does, changeling around, getting information, getting all types of currency in that fashion that would possibly help in this situation.
Awesome. Let's go next to Lauren.
All right. Hi, I'm Lauren, and I am playing Elin, she's from the north. So I think at this point is kind of trying to decide, the best course of action, probably going around the refugee camp a little bit to see if there might be someone who she recognizes who's also kind of in this strange exile return situation. Um, and also just she sort of fled under duress, so reentry is a little bit precarious, and I think that she'd be spending most of her time just kind of trying to think through how to best blend in and all that kind of thing to get in with the rest of the group.
Awesome. And let's finish our intros up a bit with let's go to Mick.
Mick, I'm playing the Ogre Fetch. Fetch is former member of a group of goblin and ogre criminals, and he's just trying to find somewhere to fit in. Basically, he's trying to head north because he thinks that he's been told by one of his former associates that there's somewhere where you can fit in up there, you can be welcome. So he's just trying to get there, and I think at this instance he's probably just probably hanging around with Temper. He likes to try to stick with the majority of the group, and if the others are out roaming, I think he'd probably stay back with the group a bit and keep his ears out and try not to take to stand out too much. Just listen and be quiet and keep an eye out.
Awesome. So that has been kind of what the characters have been up to these past few days. Keeping a low profile some, Papa Gnosis going about camp, maybe getting a shilling or two here and there. You'll probably find that most of the people that are in the camp, at least the people that you'd be like rubbing shoulders with, are not of extreme means. There are definitely some more kind of pavilion style tents throughout that might have like guards and such around them. So there's definitely like nobility and whatever like in and amongst the refugees, but they're generally not very accessible unless you know them and you know, kind of similar to your situation with meeting Argosto early on without an invite or whatever. They're not going to give you the time of day, but and I think Elin, I would probably say with this group of refugees here, you don't immediately notice anybody that recognize or know, but there's so many people here that isn't doesn't mean that you haven't that there isn't somebody here that you might recognize. It's just there's so many people. It's hard to do a thorough count of everybody and
Yeah.
but it is the fourth day, and you are still anxiously awaiting Argosto and Jomilo coming back. You don't have any reason to anticipate that they will. It's still kind of early in the course of when you might start to get worried about them, but it's just the hope of it's sort of dreary being out here in these kind of squalid conditions. Probably hoping, man, it would be nice to get into like a tavern or a nice inn or something and out of the elements like you've been living basically out in the cold, chill air and just relying on campfires and things like that to keep you warm. We're gonna say that today our game is picking up. It's probably pretty close to dinner time. And you all are you've. We'll say that your wagons and everything, like you kind of put them in that same arrangement, just in that kind of defensive circle, just maybe out of that's what has been familiar and it's been working for the group so far. And so you've got kind of your, we'll say that the camp is like, I don't know, we'll say you're parked like somewhere over here on the western side. And who do we still have? We still have a number of characters that are with you. I think Wes, Argosto's hired guard, is still around. Kind of, he's the security. He's looking after Argosto's property and his wagons and things like that, and so he's still lingering around and is basically his his most loyal person that is among the group probably yet. Bartolom, he is the Ordo Magica scholar who has the Sunstone. He's still around yet. His wagon. Keller is right where he needs to be, chained up to Temper. And Telk is still around. Although, I think as the scene opens, Telk isn't immediately with you. He went to one of the soup kitchens. There's two soup kitchens. I think I said that already. There's one on the western side, one on the eastern side. So there's one that's like it's like a 5-10 minute walk from where your wagons are. So he went to stand in line. The lines get pretty long. It's not uncommon to wait 30 minutes to get served or whatever. But the soup kitchens are open 3 times a day. They serve breakfast, lunch, dinner. So and they always are open for like the same span of about an hour and a half or so. You can get in line and get served or whatever. So he's gone to do that. So you guys are all just back at the wagons. There's a fire going in the middle that everybody's just kind of communally gathered around. I think as we're starting, not Telk, Keller is complaining a bit, and he's whining, and he's just imploring you, Temper, that like enough is enough, and I can't eat. I can't relieve myself in privacy. We're off the road. I could pose no threat, no danger in this place with all these eyes, with all these guards. I'm not gonna run away. There's nowhere to go.
Oh, well, but you're not strong enough to go on your own yet. You lose all the time.
I'm never going to win.
Well, not with that attitude. You have to try.
You don't make anybody else do these contests. And he just like points over at like Papa Gnosis. He's like, he certainly couldn't do it.
But it, he has other talents. I don't know what your talents are.
And he has
Just
no
being
rebuttal.
an asshole. Just being an asshole.
How,
Bringing me into this, Keller. Come on.
help me out, please. Do you really want me around any longer?
I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of fun watching her arm wrestle you.
Oh, God.
He's getting better.
I've got a proposal for you, man. Like, how many wins does it take? What do you think, Temper? Like 3 wins, and he's strong enough? How many wins? How many wins does it take to prove to you that he's strong enough to be on his own?
I mean, just once would be a start.
There you go, Keller. Listen, one. That's all. That's all it takes. You got something to work towards now.
He just sighs and sits down or leans up against wherever. Well, sits down probably. You're all around the fire. And
Maybe take this time to do some push-ups or something. Like if you want to win.
no, he just weeps openly. And you hear a familiar voice say, "Chin up there, buddy. I got you some soup." And you see Telk sits down, and he hands him a bowl. And he says, "Sorry, I would have gotten some for the rest of you all, but I only had 2 hands." And you can see that he had the 2 bowls, 2 wooden bowls. It's like this kind of like mushroom and carrot soup that is pretty familiar to you all. It's kind of the only thing that they've been serving this week. But it is a fairly flavorful. That definitely could be worse. And he's got a hunk of day-old bread, and he's got this like jar of this like black liquid under his arm that he grabs, and he pops the cap of, and he puts that down. And he's not alone. He's with this other individual who looks probably about Telk's age. He's got kind of graying hair that's kind of slicked back. Kind of a thinner looking individual. And he's sort of tentatively looking about. Telk just seems like he's like, "No, come on, it's fine. you can eat with us. And he's got his own, like, this man has his own bowl, and he's got a jar that has the same beverage in it. So he comes and he sits down, and Telk is like, "You guys don't mind, do you? This is Cease. I just met him in the line." And Cease he's got kind of dirty traveler's clothes. He's wearing like this big, heavy backpack that he just looks like relieved that he just drops it off of his shoulders and it slumps to the ground as he goes to kind of sit closer to the fire. Says, "Good to meet you all."
Just getting into town, Seif?
I've been here about 2 weeks or so.
Haven't found your people to camp with then yet, huh?
Oh, I came with a fairly large group. I none of my own. Um, None of my own are alive any longer, but so no, I'm quite alone here in the camp. Just met with Telk, and he told me you have a pretty storied journey getting here. We didn't see anything like that on our pass through the Titans, but did get attacked by some Jakars. But here we are. He kind of raises that beverage up. He's like, we are the ones that made it. So praise be Prios. And Telk says, praise Prios. They clink their jars together. They start putting the swill back. And you see Telk is just like, oh, this is some good stuff. You guys should really get some.
Is what is it?
And Telk is just like looking at it. He looks at the Cease, and Cease says, oh, it's I forget what it's called. Black brew. It's like a stout.
Yeah, I'll take a glass. What the hell?
Says you can get one at
praise be to Prios.
it only costs a shilling. The soup is free, but they've got some beverages that you can buy there at the kitchen.
Ah.
And as
Guess I'll-
they're eating, they're stuffing their faces and drinking, and there's sort of like a chummy vibe between the two of them. But at some point, Telk, in the midst of them just talking about the old country and their journeys and everything, Telk is like, so Cease is gonna looking to head to Thistlehold as well. I said he could come along with us if he can make it through.
What happened to all his friends?
Oh, and Ceases just says most of my people, those I hope they're still alive. They went ahead of me last year. I had a I own a vineyard. Stayed behind as long as I could. There's nothing left in Alberetor. The fields don't grow, the grapes don't grow. I was stubbornly hoping that things might turn around after the deaths of the Dark Lords, but I know it's time to make my way north. See if I might be able to pick things up again.
Yeah, it's hard to go by yourself. I think we should let him come along.
I think that would depend on the boss, right? when they get back, if they're happy with it, then she's cool.
Telk just says, well, we don't need him anymore, right? Once we get through, I just figure I'd probably split.
Maybe.
He's thinking he wants to head to Indaros. I don't need to go to the capital. I was thinking I might take my wagon up there. This'll hold. Be more money.
I guess I haven't
Oh.
thought about where are we headed. Do we know where we're headed? Are we heading to Thistlehold, or are we just like we just got to get over the border and then we're kind of our own cognizance?
I think a few people were heading to Thistlehold.
Right?
I'm following Telk.
That's right, to Thistlehold. And you too, Keller, you'd come along. He just laughs. There's not a lot of sympathy from him for his friend, and he also has been enjoying his predicament.
See, my friends want to go to Thistlehold. I'll come along.
I don't see any reason why not to take somebody else if that's where we're kind of heading and our group keeps getting smaller. We could use all the help we can probably get. So
He probably needs a wagon for that heavy bag anyway.
Yeah, what do you have in that bag? That's
Trying to bring the
a
vineyard
big
with you?
bag for a guy like you.
He says it's just all of the belongings from home that I could carry. I wish I could have taken more, but I didn't have a wagon. All the wagons that I did have went my family and my workers and everyone that left home. I appreciate the hospitality, but
if you don't mind my asking, why did you stay behind when everybody else went ahead?
my great grandfather's land. We were very successful. Did our wines? You probably have had them, or you probably at least heard of them. And probably as he says that, like, I don't know of this group because none of you are native to Alberetor. So maybe like you're all giving him blank looks so you could tell that he's a little hurt that you've never heard of it before. But
Not much of a wine guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Seth.
So that's the explanation he gives you is just like how could you give up something that had been built up by your previous generations and he sees himself as the steward of. So he says he gave his family and the workers that had been loyal for so many years the right to leave if they so choose. Many of them did, and many of them, and now he's kind of lamenting the fact that he's behind and he's lost track of them. He will say, I think he has gotten some correspondence. He'll say, the reason that he's looking to go to Thistlehold is because his daughter wrote to him, got a letter down south, told him to rendezvous. And as you're talking, you're asking him about his background, and this takes a bit. Telk looks down at his jar, and it's empty, and he says, "Ah, that really spot, my friends. I think I'm gonna go and get myself another." At which point, Cease says, "They're not going. They only allow you to have one." Says, "What?" Tel kind of gets like frustrated hearing that. Like they let you buy just one. What good is one? And then
Better than zero.
oh,
Right?
need to have another one. You all should try one. It's delicious. And Cease says, "Okay, I'll tell you what we can. There's enough time, I think." He's like looking up at the sky. You know, it's getting dark. We hurry. We might be able to get to the Eastern Soup Kitchen. They won't have seen us yet. You could get a second one, but we have to hurry. Line's probably starting to dwindle. And Telk just like is on his feet, like, "Yep, I'm gonna go get myself another drink." And so he says, "All right, I'll be right back. If you guys haven't gotten in line yet, you should go get some food before they close up. I'll be right back." And so he gets up and he starts scurrying out of the caravan circle. And Cease looks at you all, and he looks at his backpack. And he just says, "You watch my stuff for me?"
Sure. I'll watch it.
And you can all, I don't know, give me a vigilant test.
I'm gonna be very suspicious of this whole thing. I've been watching the whole thing suspiciously this entire time, so
Okay,
Roll under, isn't it?
roll under.
Yeah.
So the net 20 doesn't help me at all in this one.
Nope.
No.
Not in this one.
You're completely oblivious, but the rest of you totally can tell he's hesitant to leave his bag, but it looks like it's so heavy that he just takes it on faith that it's safe to keep his belongings there with you. He doesn't really know you. He doesn't really know Telk that well. It sounds like they literally met like an hour ago while in line. So it sort of makes sense that, who wouldn't feel that way about, like, "Hey, here's my laptop. I'm at the airport. Would you please look after this for me?" Like, it's that kind of thing. But he nonetheless just decides to like have faith that it's going to be okay, and he goes with Telk, and they start to kind of just hustle, all the way to the entire other side of the camp, just for the prospect of maybe getting another ale. So then we're all left alone there.
They're gonna burn off all that alcohol on the way over there. They're chasing a dream. They're never gonna get drunk. They're drinking Michelob Ultra.
Unless they save up their jar every day. I don't think it's going to help.
No, I'm a shapeshifter. I can just keep getting in line over and over again. But
I like that you didn't offer all of your services for that. You just let them run off and
let them go. But
fetch
on that note,
and just tow the bag.
It sounds like we should probably I don't know. I feel like this bag might explode or something, right?
yes, that's my fear too. I have the other kind of airport vibes, like this has been a bomb that's been left with us in the camp, and we should probably make sure that it's not going to blow up in our faces.
Should tell someone, right?
That didn't cross my mind at all. I was just like, I want to see what's in the bag. So,
well, I'm not opposed to seeing what's in the bag. If he comes back and his bag looks like it's been gone through, we can just be like, we thought it could be a bomb.
Put it back how it was. I just want to. Why is he trying to carry something that weighs as much as he does. That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
Oh, we picked it up and dropped it. Sorry, it came open.
So you're taking a
Not
look?
for nothing, guys. He's not going to fight two ogres. I don't think so. We're just going to blame it on you guys.
I'm watching the bag.
I'm going to watch the inside of the bag.
That's a good idea. We don't want anything happening to the inside of the bag.
No.
All right. So who's opening up the bag to check the insides for?
But Fetch is
Gnosis
dumb enough to
really
open the
believes this
bag.
thing's
Fetch is
going
going
to
to open the bag.
explode. He's standing back like...
So Fetch, you open it up, and probably packed right on top is like a change of clothes. Underneath that, there's a little mess kit with fork and knife and that kind of thing. And then it just seems like it's a lot of there's like a blanket that's wadded up and stuffed in there, but then just like a lot of like little knickknacks, like there's a little kind of wooden painted like horse. It doesn't look like expertly crafted or anything, but it just makes you think like this is probably some sentimental thing. There's just like little things like knickknacks like that, like some candlestick holders like that look valuable. There is a bag of some coin in there, probably about maybe 70 shillings or so, which is about, I think that's like 7 thaler. But underneath all of this stuff, like a lot of this is like there's whatever, like it is what it is. But it seems like carefully tucked under at the bottom of the bag is like this cloth that has been folded up. And as you like look at what is inside there, you take it out and you unwrap it. There's like maybe 5 they look like they're like grapevine cuttings that have been just like very carefully like tucked, preserved inside the bottom of the bag.
So we are 100% just pilfering through this guy's crap, and he was totally honest with us.
Yeah, it's just like a nice man with his sad little grapevines, and we've just rifled through his stuff. But it's not explosive. None of this looks explosive. So I'll say, well, at least we know he's, on the up and up, it seems.
I
I'm
guess
not going to take anything. Just looking.
if anybody wants to make I'll say a cunning test, Ken.
Rolling well for the wrong guy.
That's not gonna cut it. We got 1.
Okay. It's so funny that it would be Fetch that would do this, but so it does seem peculiar. Like it seems like there was some like he buried this like way at the bottom, and took some precautions to like. It almost seems like it was intentionally at the bottom, so that it wouldn't be visibly spotted. And as maybe you're thinking through that, you're realizing maybe that it sort of makes sense that the Ambrians wouldn't allow something like this through the immigration checkpoint, because this is like living material, and it
like
looks
an
like it's
airport.
cut. Well, it is
I'm
cut
trying to snuggle something out of Ireland, and
like clearly
Yeah,
like the
into
way that
Australia.
these are cut.
Yeah.
He has intentions of taking this and planting it. Like he's going to try to create a new vineyard. And one of the big things that they're going to check for when anybody goes through Prios Pass is corruption, and all of the vegetation from the old country is heavily corrupted. So like there's no way that they would let him through with this.
Now, is that Prios propaganda that the vegetation is corrupted, or is it actually corrupted? And if it were planted, like in the Northlands, would it pose a threat to the vegetation there, or is that just like what they're putting out?
What is true is that there has been famine for quite some time in the aftermath of the Dark Lords and everything. So there, what you attribute that to is, famines happen for all sorts of reasons, but I think that the common belief is that there is some corruption from the old country that lingers, and that it's starting to infect people. But would transplanting that and growing it in Ambria be actually a threat? That's hard to say. Like, is it the plants themselves? Is it the soil? Or is it just the nature of that place? But needless to say, the Ambrians are not taking those chances. They went through a very bloody war to fight against all of that. They've got this brand new fertile lands that they're going to, farm and make productive for Prios, and they're not going to compromise that for anything. And so such as this whole place and this whole complicated process is all observing.
So the nice man whose stuff we went through, if he would have traveled through the pass with us, he could have screwed us all by bringing this with him, technically speaking. Or do we think they just would have been like, oh, this is it, if he's traveling with us, do we all get, and he gets caught, do we all get, screwed, or do they just not let him in?
Doesn't feel like the most enlightened, situation. So I imagine it would be trouble
for us. Yeah, right. So now our big crux is: do we have some options, right? Do we, number one, tell him that we went through his stuff? Do we think he will notice anyway? Do we just say yeah, we don't think your friend should come with us, or are we just brutally honest about the whole thing? We went through your stuff, we found your shit, and maybe you should go through with somebody else, Or do we not care and just want to let him try to help him, I kind of thinking about it, Papa Gnosis is not necessarily mad at the guy for trying, I don't think he believes in all this corruption bullshit.
I don't think Temper would have any clue that it would be a problem.
Bad thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, he wants his vineyard.
I don't think Fetch much cares. As long as it doesn't stop us getting across, Fetch doesn't care. But also Fetch would have no qualm in going, hey, I went through your bag. This stuff's going to get just stopped at the
crossing, if we found it, if we found it, they're going to find it.
You hadn't even made it to the soup kitchen yet, mate, and I found your croppings. You think you're going to cross the border with it, going through customs? Come on, buddy.
You're going to have to key through that stuff at least.
Yeah.
So as you're... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I feel like he needs, I think a warning. Say, hey, bro. But also, Elin would be a little hesitant to just openly accept some, corrupted southern grapevines coming north. She's a little bit more convinced of the corruption being a real thing, having seen the famine, up close when trying to escape, and knowing how things were before in the north. So, I think she would try to dissuade him from the course of action.
As you are all discussing all this, is anybody? You've probably got just enough time to get in line to get some food if you wish to. Otherwise, you'd be fending for yourself, or whatever.
Yeah, I think that Papa Gnosis would probably remind everybody that we need to eat, and would head over there.
I'll take
Leave
Keller.
the bag here.
He's been hungry. I can carry the bag. It's heavy, but I'm strong. Keller, you can help carry the bag. It'll be good practice for your muscles.
But fine. Just give it to me.
It's got the stuff in there that we shouldn't have here, though.
Why Keller should carry it.
Yeah, but Keller's still tied to one of us. It's still the same problem as if we went across the border with the stranger. Yeah.
We're not going to cross, though. We're just going to get, some soup. They probably aren't going to stop and frisk, right? Like.
Oh, it's a fair point, actually. Alex did say before there's not like police in here or anything.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
But Keller will
Alright.
take a moment and he'll say, "By the way, you all are so concerned about appearances when you get across through Prios Pass. How do you think this is going to look? How are you going to explain this?
I
Do you
just
think they're
it's
going to
funnier
want to?
that- I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Do you think they're going to want to allow you to take a prisoner?"
If we tell them who you were working with,
Yeah, they'll kill me.
yeah, so maybe you just shut up.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus, remember, like, since you guys are attached, you guys now count as one person anyway.
I don't think that's how that works.
Well, yeah, I think it is. In the eyes of the law, if something's on you, then she can get in trouble for it. Then I don't know. That's weird.
I'm never going to get free.
Push-ups,
Better
mate.
than
Push-ups.
dead. Better
Got to
than
win
dead.
one arm wrestling competition.
Yeah.
One.
See? And you're getting stronger. You're carrying the heavy backpack.
Just he shoulders it. Let's go. I want to eat.
No,
Do some.
not on your shoulder. Curls.
So you all start to make your way. Everyone's going, right? Is anyone staying behind for any reason?
No, we're
Um,
going to go.
You make your way to the soup kitchen. It's just like a little, it's like a wooden shack. You can smell the aroma of the soup and everything from a distance away. And at this point, the line is probably somewhat shorter, kind of coming at the tail end of things. So a lot of people have already gotten their fill, but it looks like there's still probably a decent 15-minute wait, maybe. But you all get in line, and there is a man that's in front of you. That probably it's the Keller thing. He looks back and well, first of all, I mean, you're for sure the only ogres in the camp, and the only person that is walking around with another person manacled to their wrist. So there's a couple of things going on, but the man in front of you, he has kind of salt and pepper hair, a mustache, goatee, and he's wearing a brown heavy cloak on. And he turns around and gives you kind of an odd look, and just kind of gives a nod. Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, I don't mean to stare, but May I ask, what did he do?
He keeps losing arm wrestling contests.
Oh. Play for big the big wagers, I guess. How long does he have to be like that?
Till he wins.
Oh. Okay. Well, I thought it was something serious, but I guess I'm Huberto, by the way. Nice to meet you. Been in the camp for some time. I'm a member
Temper.
of the Church of Prios. Nice to meet you. And Papa Gnosis, do you have like some kind of like Prios symbology
Yeah,
or whatever?
I'm usually wearing the whole get up, the mask, the gown, the necklaces. Yeah.
Ah, hello, my brother. Member of the faith as well. Praise be to Prios, the life giver.
Yeah, and I'll do the whole spiel. I know all the handshakes and
Yep.
everything. You know what I
The
mean? Like
signs.
I've been doing this been doing this, ain't my first rodeo. So he's doing the whole thing. What order, are you, brother, and all that jazz. He's got the full backstory to keep it, some order from real far away. You know what I mean?
Unlike a lot of the people that you've met, he seems like he takes your story in, and he doesn't show any sign of doubt, cast any shade on your story. And he says, "It's good that you are here. There is a lot of sour feel here in the refugee. We need to go about and keep spirits up. One thing to cross the Titans and survive the dangers, but it is another to sit and be patient and wait. Trust that Prios will open those gates and that these people will see to it to make it to the other side, to the promised land."
Wheels of bureaucracy turn slow and test the faithful.
Yes, it is unfortunate, but perhaps it is just another one of Prios's tests. But that is why our presence here is important. We need to keep the light going.
I'm so glad that you say that, to meet a brother of the cloth that I see so, that we see so alike. I agree. We must keep the light of Prios shining in this camp as we await for everyone here to walk through the doors into his kingdom.
You look new here. I suppose I don't know everybody in the camp necessarily, but have you been here long?
4 or 5 days, something like that. We're pretty new. We're just, like everyone else, biding our time, waiting for our turn.
Well, wow, that is very recent. You must have just missed. I heard that there were some incredible storms that had passed through the Titans. Not expecting any more caravans to come.
I believe it's possible we may have been the very last to make it through, as it was a harrowing journey.
Praise be, and I'm so glad to see that you are here and you've been safe. It looks like you're up next. And you can see you've now like made it up, like you're just about to enter into like the little wooden shack or whatever, and there's kind of a larger woman that seems to be kind of supervising the kitchen, and she's wearing, kind of like this white cotton uh cook's outfit that's just splattered with, food remnants and, the splashback from soup and everything. She's not necessarily herself like ladling everything, but she is swearing up a storm, and she's bossing around all of these goblins. Actually, kind of probably a surprise to you all to see goblins here in the soup kitchen, but they are the ones that are grabbing bowls and big ladles into the big cauldron to, slop in the soup and hand it out to you, and then here you go, move on.
Thanks.
I'll lay out a shilling for each of our friends except Keller to have a drink.
Oh, okay. So the larger woman, she comes and collects that, and you see one of the goblins reach for the shillings, and she just slaps his hand and is like, no, you don't handle that. I will handle that. Remember last time?
And I'll make a mention, like you've got them trained pretty good.
Good
I've
help
never
is
seen
hard to find.
Goblins, operate this well in modern, in society.
Oh. You are kind to say that, but I tell you, it is an enduring test every day to wake up and have to deal with these fucking. And she just starts like kind of swearing at them, and they kind of giggle and laugh, and they're like adolescent boys, like they've got towels and they're just like snapping each other and they're just fooling around, and
I'm picturing a mix between a scene from the Gremlins and Jim Henson's Muppets,
Pretty much. But she engages in some conversation. She takes your shillings and she brings out a couple of those jars and hands them to you.
Nice.
She says, "Go easy on that. Go easy on that. Pretty strong stuff."
Pass it around to everybody, and I'll just kind of wave the open drink under Keller's nose. It's like, when you're strong enough, one day, I believe in you.
He's like, "You prick."
Yeah. Now you know how it feels, buddy.
Probably at this point, the guy in front of you, the missionary, Brother Huberto, just kind of, he does another, blessing be to Prios. May Prios's warmth be with you tonight. It's supposed to be a cold one. And he takes his leave of you.
I'll just say something like, I hope to see you again. All the propaganda, what do you call it? Buzzwords. Prios, love. See you later. And then okay, made it through another, because I think, in deep inside, there's a part of Papa Gnosis that every time he has to interact with an actual man of the cloth, that he's kind of somewhere kind of scared he's going to get busted. You know what I mean? Some of the jargon isn't going to be right. Some of the scriptures he's quoting are going to be off, and then it's just going to all come tumbling down. But so far, so good.
They're actually going to be from the place that you claim to be from.
Yeah. I was actually worried that he was going to say that, because he was like, maybe unlike some other people. And I was like, oh no, he's going to be like, he knows your order. And I was like, oh no. But thank God, not.
Papa Gnosis, why don't you give me a cunning test quick?
Okay, we can do that. Ooh.
There is something unusual about the language that this man used, because he used the word life giver, which is sort of an antiquated term for Prios that predates the war. Prios has started, after the Queen adopted, Prios is kind of the exclusive religion. He started getting names like the Lawgiver, the Light in the Darkness, or like
some of the stuff I was using, with the light
Yeah,
All that.
but
Yeah.
Life Giver is an older, definitely an antiquated thing that you wouldn't hear probably members of the church use in uh just day-to-day conversation.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. And is he still within like earshot of me, or is he gone?
I think at the point where this like dawns on you, he's gone.
Okay. Okay. Because I want to say that probably because of Papa Gnosis's own story, when he gets hints like that, his immediate thought is like, is this another poser? Is this another changeling? Is this somebody that hasn't, I've made mistakes. I've made mistakes like this, you know, type of thing. So now his interest in what was it? What was the gentleman's name again?
Brother Huberto.
Umberto. He's definitely like interested, but he's also probably committed to the fact that he's going to try to find out more about this guy, but like in disguise, not as Papa Gnosis. You know what I mean? Like he's maybe a little bit, it feels maybe a little bit exposed to this guy as well. You know, he's like, if this guy is exposed to me, I may be exposed to him.
So you all step out of the soup kitchen and leave the goblins and the kitchen manager, I guess. She's gonna trying to get them under control, but you're back out. I would assume your plan is to head back to your caravan or the wagons.
Yeah, that's makes sense to me. On my way back, I'm going to try to sneak sips of this stout to Keller because I could tell Papa Gnosis didn't want him to have any, but he's my buddy, so I'm gonna give him a little bit.
He definitely does not refuse that. Um, and you take his silence to mean gratitude, as he's been nothing but mouthy today. So, um, yeah, so you guys return back to the wagons. Telk and Cease have not returned, although you probably suspect that they would have made the journey to the other soup kitchen and back quite yet anyway. But the fire is still going. Wes and uh, the other guy's name.
Or, or Tom.
Yeah,
Bartolom.
Bartolom. They had stayed behind and they attended to fire and the wagons and everything like that. So, um, as you make your way back, you hear a scream coming from your side of the camp. You're not exactly sure. You're looking around. You don't really like see anything immediately, but you definitely heard like a loud scream, and you can tell that other people are coming out of their tents or are around their camps and kind of looking about, kind of confused because they all heard this same kind of blood curdling scream. People are kind of looking kind of to the north of where.
Well, we should check that out. Somebody might be in trouble.
Did it sound like a male or a female voice?
Um, we'll say it was a male voice.
We do know some males that are not with us right now. Okay, I'm with it. Yeah, we should check that out.
So
So, to the north.
start to kind of move, would you say you're like hastily like running there or cautiously?
I would say I don't want us to like necessarily bring attention to ourselves, considering that there was just some screaming, but like yeah, maybe race walking ish, moving little quick, but not like bolting.
Always
Probably.
keeping one
Sure.
ear on the ground so as not to break the rules. Yeah.
There you go. Yes.
So with a little bit of pep in your step, but not charging into a situation that you don't know what's going on. So as you're moving north past the various tents and campfires, I think the people in the immediate, like nobody else is like going in that direction to like check it out, right? Like this is like people are looking and they're confused and on edge. Like, should we be concerned for what's going? Like, do we need to be ready to scram if we need to? But you all are like moving forward in that direction where you heard it coming from, and I would say you're it doesn't take you long before you're like moving past where the soup kitchen is, and there's sort of an incline there, like a pretty shallow hill, and at the top of that hill is where like that first watchtower is on the western side. And so as you're starting to like move up that hill, it doesn't take long before you see that there are people that are like coming down towards you. Like there are people that are like actively fleeing from something. Terror in their eyes. Families that have like are dragging kids and picking up like, like toddlers or whatever and running. So there's like a wave of that. Then there's like an additional wave just like a few moments later where there are people that are bloodied that are running and coming over there.
Well, what happened? Hey, what happened?
And of course you're calling out and like nobody is stopping to share a story.
Hmm.
Gonna grab someone.
All right.
You're up to it, yeah.
You grab someone and like you can see they're just like, ah! Let me down! Let me down!
When you tell us what you're running from, what happened?
It's an abomination. It's killing. It's killing you. We gotta go. We gotta go.
Let him go.
Drop him.
We got
He
something out of him. Yep.
runs away. And
I don't
pretty
want
soon
one
you're
of my
seeing
own,
like
like Temper
arrows.
does.
Arrows are flying like overhead from the other side of the hill, like presumably overshots or missed arrows or whatever. So you know that on the other side of this hill, there's some kind of a conflict happening, some kind of a battle. You can hear the calls of like military, like a captain or something trying to get his men in line to fight something.
How far are we from the top of the hill?
Like you probably only have to go maybe another 5 meters or so, and you'll be
Yeah,
at the
I
top.
feel
to look
like
down.
I will run up to the top of the hill, dive down, and kind of like duck down, so I'm like using the hill as cover and peek over to see what's going on.
Okay. So you do that. And so the rest of you see Papa Gnosis like get down and is peeking over, and what you see is maybe we'll say that you're like right here, like pretty close to like where the watchtower is, and looking down at this road here. And what you see is this probably like 10-foot tall creature of just I mean it's not it definitely like reminds you of the abomination that you saw that was born from Pathfinder, like last week. Crossing the Titans. They're just like kind of soaked in this like dark crimson blood, just like covers their body, almost like they're like a flayed creature. and just like a face that is just teeth. But it clearly can see and perceive. It's got these huge claws, and it is just ripping through soldiers that have come out from the watchtower. There's like a line maybe of 5 rangers some distance away that are firing arrows at this thing. The arrows are going and sinking into the creature. But as you know, these things are pretty durable. But unfortunately, it's not the only one. If you look some maybe 50 meters east of it, there's another one.
Oh my
But
god.
that one is just cleaning up and chasing after civilians or the refugees, and there's no resistance, there's no opposition to it, and it is fast. You can see as it's like running, taking a big swing at the backs of a fleeing refugee, and they're down. And like a couple seconds later, it jolts forward, gets the next one. Like people are just dropping like flies to this thing.
Oh my god. Why do I feel like I have to do something about this? Why is my instinct not to just run away from this thing? These things.
There is a ringing bell that you can hear coming from the island. And it is like a bell tower, presumably probably coming from somewhere on the other side of the keep, but it is ringing frantically. And you can see that the bridge is being raised. So the keep and the island is enacting their defense protocols.
Yeah.
So they're not sending the cavalry.
Nope. If we don't want everyone in this camp to die, we've dealt with these things before. I know that we're not heroes and we don't owe anybody anything, guys, but I'm proposing that we try to do our best to keep this slaughter down, and if we die today, then it's our time to go.
Okay. But
Better to join the fight while there's soldiers.
I should
That's a good
probably
point.
leave Keller here. I don't
He's
want.
not strong enough.
I'm not
Yeah.
strong enough. Please leave me.
This is a test to see how dependable you are. You watch this bag and wait right here.
Okay, that I can do.
All right.
So you dig out the key and unlock him.
Mm-hmm.
And from what you can see, like he is sticking by the bag, but he's like quivering, like his knees are quivering and shattering, as he's looking down at the abominations. And he kind of like, as you guys are like moving forward, he's like, "Good luck."
Oh.
I'm going to give him my jar of stout. Courage, mate.
He holds it, and it doesn't even like dawn on him that like he's not even thinking about it. He's just like holding it, and he's just like.
We'll be back.
And
Just
don't you
stay.
go anywhere. Don't think about running away. Because
Going to
we'll
pull
find
both
you.
my weapons now.
Okay, yeah,
the way.
since it's a movement action to do so once you're
Yeah.
in the combat.
I want to do the same thing. When I see you pull out your weapon, I'm going to pull out mine.
Same. I will pull out.
We're all
pull out
taking
my
the hit.
bow.
Crossbow's coming out.
That sounds good.
Although I do admit I am feeling a strangling coming on.
That's a scary sentence.
So
I've
given
never used it.
that,
I thought I would use it in my life, but here we are.
So which of these two abominations are you heading towards?
I am gonna head towards the one that's just indiscriminately mowing down bystanders because I really don't like that.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense.
And hope the soldiers can take care of the other one while we're.
At least for a little while, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not in it to save the soldiers, you know? I feel bad for the refugees, you know?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know why it's actually rolling, because initiative isn't really a rolled thing, but just is what it is.
Makes it look
I
like.
guess it gives you, is that where it gets the decimal points if you have the same, like,
Yeah,
stat block?
it should do it automatically.
We should both bend their wills to attack each other. Or attack themselves.
I don't know if I can do that.
Oh, I meant to Elin, because she has the bend will ability.
Yeah, I think it'd be. I don't know if we can be bend will of these guys. It seems.
That maybe not. I think I don't know if I think I did try on the last one, right? And I think one round I was able to, but then I lost control
Okay,
in
so
the
we
second
actually.
roll.
Okay, so yeah, if we can try to.
We can attempt to. I don't know if it'll work. It's just throwing it out there.
Let's tell
Might-
our will is to have
might
it
be
jump
funny.
into the water.
Does the water take them out?
I don't know.
Probably.
Probably.
It looks like a cliff, so it'd at least take them
It's
away.
a cliff. Yeah.
Mhm.
I say we try that.
Yeah,
Try to
exactly.
tell them to jump off the cliff.
I love it. I like where you're going with this.
So we're gonna start the combat rounds of the initiative procedure. Basically, again, like what you see is this thing is basically moving southbound, chasing after the refugees, and so he's in the midst. There's a bunch of you can see there's a bunch of tents that have kind of collapsed from the stampede. Um, there's still fires kind of at this point it's dark, and so this battle is taking place in darkness, but there's campfires aglow, and so you're just it's like a horror movie, right? You've got this silhouette of this tall thing that is walking past these campfires, just lighting up its silhouette as it's moving around. So it doesn't hamper your sight or anything. It's just like the visual of that is it's quite terrifying to go up against this thing. Smoky campfire filled camp. Gnosis, you're the first to act.
I think I am going to try to, I like this plan. I'm going to try to bend its will and try to make it run off the cliff.
All right. So
In the thing here, it says a mystic can seize control of the creature's will by making a successful resolute to resolute test.
okay.
Control is considered active until the mystic breaks concentration or fails a resolute test.
What's your
Control
resolute
creature
score?
My resolute is 13.
Okay. So this will be a -3, so you need a 10 or succeed.
Okay. I missed.
So it would miss.
But do we have rerolls? I'm going to do a reroll.
There are 2 rerolls, so this would be a good place to deploy one.
I am going to use it. Yeah, baby.
That would make it successful. Sorry, go ahead with what the the
It
result
says a
is.
controlled creature can only perform one action each turn and cannot use any active abilities or powers while affected. I think at later, greater levels that you can use their powers, but I'm just gonna tell it to, and I don't know how far it can make it in this turn, but I'm gonna tell it to turn back and run towards the cliff. I just want it to run right off the cliff into the water.
Sounds good. And there is. You have to roll 1d4 for temporary corruption, I think. All right. And then that will bring us to fetch.
I think Fetch will just kind of move to interpose himself in between the hopefully fleeing creature and our magic users, basically. Just try to be a front line between them for if it does turn around and run back towards us.
Sounds good. Temper.
Yeah, I want to try to get close enough to hit it eventually. Are we close enough to do that?
With the movement, you can use your movement action to get up to it.
Okay. And I have my sword out, so I want to try to hit it.
All right. Be fairly easy to hit, I believe. It's a +7 your attack.
Okay.
Oh yeah, plus is bad in this.
Other damage. So I put
Yes.
that in modifier? +7? Right? I'm trying to remember how to, not +7D. Oh goodness. That's 0.
Oh,
That's
it's
that. Oh,
Oh
oh
man. Unless you want to reroll, so because you
yeah.
rolled a natural 20, right?
I know. Yeah, I did.
So
I don't like that.
the natural 20 would be like an auto fail.
Auto fail. Then I want to try to re-roll because I feel
Yes.
like I should be able to hit. That's a little bit
Yes.
better.
So it rolls the damage automatically
Thank
is
you.
7 damage.
Yes.
Got an armor of 2, so he'll take 5 points.
bad, not bad.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it rolled the 1d8. I also have that what is I'm trying to remember all these things. I don't think I did a berserker thing, so that should be it, right? Yep, that should be it.
So
That's
as
all
you
I did this
swing
thing.
with your sword and you cut into this thing, big gash opens up into its flesh, and this black acidic blood sprays everywhere.
Ooh.
Roll roll your armor die.
Okay.
Xenomorph syndrome.
All right. It said I failed, but I had a protection of 5.
Protection of 5. Okay. And the extra die on this one is it robust or it's like a ogre trait, right?
Right. That's
Yeah,
from
okay.
robust. Yeah.
So a bit of this acid like gets on you, it gets on your armor, because the defense test fails, but the armor protects you from this acid. But this
Okay.
acid is burning through your armor, and it is still there, and you can
Don't
hear it
like that.
sizzling, and it is an active effect. And so, until it's somehow neutralized or goes goes through its process and is gone, it is still on you.
Okay.
But for the present moment, you're good. And then that will bring us to the Blightborn. But it is currently under the Bend Will.
So is this the time that it would start running?
Yes. Just reading the thing. Mystic sees control of one control, but make controls because they're active.
It seems a little unfair, but I guess they get that cunning or that resolute test each turn.
I just want to look up the other things real quick to make sure I'm understanding this. I see. Okay, I get it. All right. Yeah, so it's going to basically its action that it's performing is just so it starts running to the north. I don't know. They don't really give you like movement distances and stuff. It's like not that style of a game exactly. So it's just it runs, we'll say that it'll take I don't know. Just for the sake of the scene and the narrative, we'll say it takes 5 turns before it gets to the shore.
Okay. Cool. Then this would be 1.
1. Yep.
Word.
And then
Does Temper get a swing at him as he flees?
yeah, he's fleeing, so yes, you could take a swing, Temper, if you'd like.
I will. I'm gonna get rained on. Is it still the plus
Yep.
7 modifier? Okay.
Yes.
Let's see. One.
And that time when you
One
swing, it
damage.
doesn't seem like it cuts into his back. Like you don't, you can kind of confirm that you didn't cut through its flesh because you don't have any of that spray back as he starts running away. But
Was a little cowardly. Like I didn't want to get rained on.
you pulled your punch a little bit.
Maybe we should strangulate him.
Well, like you slapped him on the backside with the flat of the sword. Go on, get,
Go on.
All right, Elin.
Okay, so is the other guy in range that I can try to bend his will? I don't know how far I can.
Yeah, we'll say he's still like in range. You can see him yet.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell the guy that's fighting the soldiers to just basically like follow his friend, as well.
Okay.
So they're both kind of just running with it. So I'm gonna try that. Get him going too. Hold on.
We're just playing lemmings here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then I forgot, how do I, okay, I have to choose a target, saying? Can I choose a target? Hold on.
What was it that you did, Ryan? It was a resolute?
Resolute.
I just rolled the resolute. Yeah, resolute.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I'll
So
just do that then.
Resolute test -3.
Right. I was trying to like make the thing do the math, but
you guys are rolling well. So you got the opposite one, the one of the soldiers is also under that, and will start following his friend.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that'll bring us to the top of the round. Gnosis.
I guess this is where we duel again with the resolute tests.
Yep.
Let's do it.
So did that have the -3 in there?
I don't think so. So is it -3 or is it +3? Is it good for me or is it bad for me?
This is bad for you. It's resistant to this test.
Okay, so I think if we add, I rolled my result margin was 2. So if we add 3 to it, I'll fail. And we're out of rerolls, I believe.
Out of rerolls, unless somebody wants to donate out there to keep this going. Pause a moment just to see, but otherwise, yeah, it'll break. But I guess the good news is there's some distance between you all and him for the moment, so he would have to run back to get back into melee.
Question: since I initiated this, like I guess what I'm picturing is some sort of link or whatever in the other turn, is this resolute test? Is that my action, or could I get off a crossbow bolt at him as well?
We'll say that the concentration thing like happens at the top of your turn and is not necessarily like an action. I don't know, maybe the wrong call, but that's what I'm gonna say. So if you want to take a shot,
yeah, I think I do want to try to take a shot. I don't think that hits. Yeah.
Well, his defense is +7. So I think your accurate is.
My accurate is 7.
So you would hit.
Oh, well, okay. And that's 1d10 for damage. I thought it would have rolled it when I hit it, but let me just roll d10.
Oh! Ooh, okay. So with that, your crossbow bolt like strikes like right into its head as it's like your concentration broke and it like turned around and it lets out this like terrifying like howl, and then you just like shoot him right in the head, and like as you do so, the whole thing just becomes this like curtain of blood that just becomes no longer physical form and just like becomes liquid right on the spot and just bathes that hill in crimson.
Wow. Nobody is more amazed than me. I'm just gonna stand there and just be like I'm gonna look around for one of my friends and be like, did you see that? Like, did you see that? Nice, that's sick.
So then
I was worried when I lost control of him. So
it is then Fetch's turn. And so there is still the other abomination on the other side. I'm gonna say it will take 2 moves to get over to that conflict. That other abomination is somewhat separated from where you guys currently work.
Yep. Just book it over there then.
Sounds good. Making your way over there to kind of reinforce. And as you're looking over there, like there's easily 3 guards that are down, and there's like one guy that's left in melee that looks like he was probably just about to have gotten his head ripped off, but the bend will from Elin just like took effect, and you can see the thing's demeanor is changed a bit. That'll bring us.
As I'm running over, I'll be shouting out the other one's down, like just to kind of let them know that I'm not with it because I don't look like them. So
right, definitely smart thing to do. Temper.
All right. Well, I'm gonna run after the one that had run away from me, the one that I hit before, and I'm gonna try to hit it again. But I
Oh.
know I'm just like cringing because of the bloody mess that I'm sure is going to happen if I hit.
Oh, wait. The one you were the one that you had hit is
Yeah.
dead.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When Papa Gnosis hit like a 10 on the damage die.
Oh, I heard it did a lot of damage. I didn't
Yeah.
know it killed it. I'm sorry. Well, I wouldn't have done any like, man, I don't understand how damage I keep rolling a 1 on. Anyway, then I guess I would have tried to go after the other one, but I probably wouldn't have been able to get to it,
Yeah, not
So,
quite. You're like probably just a
yeah.
little bit behind where Fetch is. Like you're both two ogres are crossing the battlefield, and you can see the rangers are like
Yeah.
hoping this is a good thing.
I don't know how I missed. I'm sorry. I knew you had really done a lot of damage, but it just didn't click in my brain that like, oh, down, it's down. All right, so I'll just I'll run after Fetch, who's running after the other one. That's
Yeah.
what I'll
So then, well, if this thing was standing still, you would make it over to him in the next round. But Elin currently has it under the bend will, and so you watch as the thing was like about to like just pulverize this guard. The bend will takes hold, and the thing just starts like running towards the river.
Take me to the water.
Elin, it is your turn, and so then you can do that resolute test -3.
All right.
I believe in you.
Fingers crossed. All right.
Looks
that
good.
should good. So he's gonna keep on running.
Awesome.
Alex, did I need to roll again because I had the acid still on my armor?
Oh yes, thank you for reminding me of that. You could do the defense test, or no?
Okay.
Well, just roll that. Really, what we're looking for is just the arm.
So just hit the armor button?
Yeah.
Like that?
Oh. How do we get the? Do whatever you did last time, because it rolled your d4s for your
I thought
for
I
the
did
armor.
what I did last time. I don't know why
I guess it's because it was a success, right? Like if it was a failure, it
Oh,
would roll
sure.
it. How do you force it? I wonder.
I don't know. I could just keep rolling till I fail. But
Is it
I'm just
collecting,
so successful.
kicking the protection button? Like, because
Should I
then it
put a
asks you
different
for a modifier and
modifier
everything.
in? Yeah. Like, I mean, you'd think I would fail one of these pretty there. That's a failure.
Yeah, there we go.
So,
There.
okay. So you end up taking 1 point of acid damage. It
Okay.
does burn through on that turn. Thanks for remembering that. Then we're back at the top, and it's Papa Gnosis.
Am I the distance that I could get off a crossbow bolt at the other one that's running away, or would I have to move some distance? Like, could I get if I moved? Could I get one off, or am I in chase?
If you move, you'll be within range still.
Okay, I'm gonna go for it.
So +7.
Modifier +7.
So success, and he takes 5 points of damage.
Yeah.
So crossbow bolt right into its back. You can see it kind of arch its back as it takes that, but it is still compelled to keep running forward. And then it is Fetch's turn.
This is very different to how I thought the Strangler ability was going to work.
Yeah, me too.
Can I reach it in this turn?
You can't because he's like running away at this point.
Yep, that's
so
okay.
you're kind of just chasing at the moment, keeping him within one movement segment. Should Elin lose control of that?
That's fine. I'll just keep pacing it then. Ready for if it drops, then I'm there. But if it doesn't, then I'll watch it fall into the water.
Sounds good. Temper.
Okay, well, I don't like this acid burning me. It hurts. Could I try rolling on the ground to get it off?
You can.
You
Give
got any
me
stout left?
give me a cunning test.
Oh no. It's not good.
But today it is.
Yes, I rolled right on the number.
Yep. So you managed to remove that acid, and so that effect is no longer. The abomination is continuing to run towards the river. He's got 3 more rounds before he makes it. Elin.
All right. Let's see if we can hold it. Yeah.
Makes it.
Keep running. Keep running.
Top of the round, Papanosis.
I'm going to run as far as I can and try to get a shot off.
Sounds good.
Said +7.
Yep.
Oh.
All right. Another shot. It's still up. But running away from you. Fetch.
Beat the same steps. I'm not throwing my axe at it because then I just have to go and get it. So yeah, I'll just keep running after it.
Sounds good. Temper.
Well, now I'm gonna get up and start running again. So I watched, like I was chasing Fetch. Now he's way ahead of me. God, wait for me.
All of the guards that are like on the wall on the island, you know that they're just sitting there like, what the fuck is happening? Because they're just watching these 2 ogres clear across the field, chasing this Blightborn abomination. Like they've never seen anything like this. And they're
Might
just
help
in
our
awe.
cause if we're lucky.
Yeah.
We should earn our way across the fucking river.
Yeah.
This thing is still running. He's 2 rounds away. So 2 more checks from Elin and it'll be in there. So Elin, another resolute. -3. Makes it.
All right.
Wow.
Papanosis.
Yep, we're playing this same game. We're just gonna run up there and try to get a shot off. Oh, I forgot to put in the modifier. I failed anyway.
Yep. Fetch. Running.
Yep, same deal. Knees high. Booking it across the paddock. Yep.
Temper, same thing.
Yup, I'm right. But I want to make sure the guards know that I didn't fall before. It was intentional. So I'm like, I didn't trip. So I just want to make sure they know.
Do that thing where you look at your watch and just start to jog like, I don't know, it was, Yeah.
So it was the acid.
All right, Elin, this is the last one. If you make this one, the thing is going to go over.
Jump off. All right. Fingers crossed.
Wow.
And a success. So, it gets to the edge and just like without hesitation, right? Like it just like zooms off and probably Fetch and Temper maybe get to the edge just in time to like look down and you can see the thing just like cascade on the rocks like just at the bottom of the cliff, like as it's like heading into the water, and the water has just absorbed this. There's like this red pool that is starting to just get absorbed into the water and start to filter and become clear water again. But
do the young guns thing and kick dust off the edge, like I'm kicking it over the corpse.
A nice flourish.
Well, it's the only thing I added that fight other than the keeping up.
Listen,
You were there in case it failed. Yeah, it would have been clutch.
I had a roll, but it just thankfully didn't happen. So, yeah.
I actually think that
was
worked
awesome,
out
you
pretty
two.
good. Yeah,
that was a beautiful strategy. The pair of you just bend them and make them run away. So it didn't. That was beautiful.
Yeah. When they bleed on you, it hurts.
Yeah, I'm glad
Are you
the
okay?
second one didn't bleed on any of
Yeah.
us.
Is that still sizzling on you, or is it finished now?
No, I rolled on the ground. It's good. I'm okay.
Okay.
so
If you need a heal, let us know.
I'm okay. Thank you.
as the moments of your battle here are concluded, you can see that the Rangers are moving forward and like kind of picking up their fallen, and they're starting to kind of bring them towards. It looks like their destination is probably like the middle watchtower. They're trying to drag them. Presumably to some place where they can get some medical attention. But there is, of course, just panic across the camp. You're getting the sense that these aren't the only abominations. Like, this is just a little tiny part of a much bigger story that is playing out, because when you look to the east, you can see that there's a big pavilion is on fire. There is definitely like some skirmishes with the guards at the other watchtower and some abominations over there. By the time you get over there to investigate, see what is going on, I'm sorry if I'm assuming that you would do that, but big problem is Telk was over there
Yeah.
and Cease were over there trying to get some of the black brew. By the time you get over there, everything is taken care of. The guards have put down their abominations. But it's going to be a long night of taking stock of people. There's probably not going to be an official death count necessarily tonight, but in the morning, you're going to hear that there was some 35 people that were killed, and Telk was among them, as was Cease. In fact, Cease had become one of these Blightborn.
Whoa.
You're right. There was a bomb. It was just him, not his bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna check him, but then I thought that that'd be rude, upon meeting him for the first 5 minutes. But, well, now we know, don't
Instinct.
we? Yeah.
So does that mean we've got a wagon now? I mean, not to like immediately rob the pockets of the dead, but
Did he have a
I'm not sure
wagon? I
how
thought he
ownership
just had the
works.
bag.
no, Telk was the wagon owner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, and before running over to the east side, I don't know if I would have wanted to leave Keller alone by himself. Like I would want to go back and get him. Is he okay?
He is still there, and he is fine. He was close enough to you and the things that you dealt with that no harm came to him. But
Okay.
did he did stay put?
He did.
Did you drink my stout?
He didn't. He's just like shell shocked a little bit.
I wonder if he can drive a wagon.
I'm kind of really speeding through this because I probably will have to recap all the. I want this is where I'm going to want Adrian to come back in because this is kind of where the investigation and the adventure is now going to come through. Because I think he's going to come back the next day and tell you that all immigration north is ceased as a result of this situation in the camp. But he will have worked out a deal with the magistrate that if he can, he's got all of you. If you'll do this investigation, try to pin down what exactly happened and why, you might get an exception. So we'll use that as sort of the hook into this.
Blame it on the cuttings. Goddamn grape cuttings. See, they're right to have controls of their borders.
Yeah.
We figure out what we do with this backpack now.
Burn it, I think.
Throw it over the freaking water with
So,
the rest of the guys.
I'll say this.
We could use it in our investigation. It's fine.
Yeah.
That could be your working theory right now, but I'll say this: that when you present this, perhaps in the morning to the guard, which is probably the first conversation you're going to have, is with the captains that were on the floor, and what did they see? They're going to tell you that can't explain this because many people at the same time, like something weird happened, where all of these things became Blightborns at the same exact time. And that is really weird.
Yeah.
It's not weird that somebody would be so corrupted that they become Blightborn, but for it to happen simultaneously, there's some event that is tying all of these occurrences together, and that's the thing that they're not sure about.
Got it.
But that'll be probably our first conversation will be this. So this tower in the center, you can see there's like a little bit of like a building that abuts against it. That's sort of like the captain's like offices where they do their paperwork and do their reports and things like that. Now it has turned into kind of a makeshift infirmary. All of the soldiers and rangers that were downed are going to be laid out in there. But we'll pick that up next time. So this is like I can tell you a little bit about my experience playing it because what we're doing right here is like not how it's presented in the book. So like the way it's presented in the book would be that you're coming from the north and you're actually on the island as all these abominations, all this stuff is happening.
Oh.
So like when I played it, the hook that we had was like, I think it was my character actually. My character had a family member who was a refugee. And so I was coming here to meet them as they were coming through because like I was going to like sponsor them or whatever and like get them to be able to come into the country. But the attack happens while you're inside on the island and you're like kind of helpless because like your family member is out there and is probably going to get like fucked up. And so you have to find a way to like get out of the town and get into the refugee camp, which is like the reverse of how we played it. So
That's kind of cool.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah, really.
So
how did you guys deal with the abominations? Did you just melee them, or did you send them over a cliff also?
Well, no, ours was not as interesting as what you guys concocted as a strategy. We fought one of them, and I want to say I was playing like a warrior type. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I was up in melee with it. I don't know if we had any mystics or any spellcasters, honestly. I think we had like all warriors and ranger types.
Yeah. I feel like our mystic mix is going to be interesting because we're just constantly going to be like trying to dominate these things' wills all the time. That's gonna be
maybe
cool.
we can just manipulate everyone into doing what we
Right.
want.
Yeah.
And if that
Just
doesn't work,
those
we'll
rolls
punch them
going.
real hard. That's the strategy here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We'll it's kind of the opposite of what you would expect. You would expect the heavy hitters to be on the front line and we're the backup, but it's like kind of working out where it's like, yeah, let's just mess with these guys with magic. If that doesn't work out, these really big ogres are going to be right on their butt to smash them real fast.
We stay in between while you try to mess them up with your stuff, and then if that goes wrong, we're in between them and you so that we can, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm very sad Talc died. He was my other friend. I might have to mourn his loss.
Now I feel
Keller's
bad
still
for
with us,
asking
though.
immediately whether or not we could get his wagon.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm impressed that Keller didn't run. I was fully expecting Keller to just run away, and so he has earned a tiny smidge of my respect for that, for not running away.
Just fight, flight, or freeze, and he froze. That's not.
That's why I'm saying tiny. That's why I'm saying tiny. You know.
Well, I still expected his skeezy nature to come through and to come back and find that the backpack and him were gone, and we,
Right.
you know, like, yeah.
That's 100% what I expected.
Or he would be gone, and then later somebody would come to us and try to search the backpack, thinking it's like blaming us for the cuttings being in there because Keller sold us out or whatever. But you know,
Right.
the
Right.
fact that at least his flight, fight, or freeze response was the one that didn't result in him betraying us, I suppose.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I would have been devastated if I lost both of my friends. Come on, guys.
Right. Yeah.
that's fair.
You're going to be leaning on Keller pretty hard now.
Oh yeah, my only remaining buddy.
So Cease was Casey's NPC that he purchased with his donation. So
Oh, nice.
and
That's cool.
he had something in there about
Nice.
him having these like cuttings of something, and I was like, okay,
Aw, I like.
And we found him.
yeah.
Thank God.
So
You were able to sneak that in.
yep. My thought was that him and Telk were in line for soup, and you know how Telk just makes friends with seemingly anybody. Like he just talks to whoever. Like that's how he met you. But somehow they got into the conversation of needing to smuggle that into the country, and so my thought was that Telk was like, "Yeah, we'll just throw your bag on my wagon." Like they're not going to look at everything like in that details, especially not bad. Like it'll be fine. And he paid him some like money, like something that's maybe
Feeling it was
a
something
lot
like
of money,
that.
but just a little less than the fine that it would be if they found it or whatever. So
That's our Talc. Oh.
trying to make a buck.
Hmm.
He died the way he lived,
Stupid.
trying to make a buck.
Trying to get drunk.
Yeah, yeah.
That black brew, it's good.
Must be. Wow.
Yeah, so
I hope they at least got the second cup before they,
I think so.
I know,
died.
right?
I think so.
I know. And
Yeah,
maybe
fair
it happened
point.
so
Yeah.
fast. Because if it was Cease that turned into the Blateborn, so then maybe he didn't even know. It just was like this moment, and then boom.
Yeah, he was just acided up immediately.
Right, first victim. No,
Yeah, done and
no
done.
time to be afraid.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe you got both the cups. He's couldn't drink it, handed it over while he's exploding into the thing. He's just down in 2 cups. He died happy. Sounds good.
2 cups, 1 talc.
Oh god.
Oh god. Okay. That seems like a good spot to say good night. Thanks everybody for the donations. That was awesome. I think we got up to, I don't know. My eyes can't tell what that number says. The script is too small, but I think it's like 200 and some or 300 and some that we've raised so far. Goal is to try to hit 500 sometime this week or during our X-Crawl game that is happening next Friday. So you can come check that out. That'll be a hoot, I'm sure, to watch live on pay-per-view. Adventuring X-Crawl nonsense with level 0 characters too. They're like not even going to be the superstars. They're going to be the recruits or the I don't know. I haven't read the adventure yet, but I'm assuming it's kind of like open tryouts to try to be a member of the X-Crawl, and it's just going to end disastrously. So, yes, the jobbers, Dawson says. Absolutely. So, this game, I think we're on in 2 weeks. We'll be back. Is that right? 27th? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have a full party, and we'll kind of get into the meat of the adventure at that point. So come join us for that, starting at 8 p.m. 2 weeks from now. All right, it's Saturday night. I think we're gonna go raid some 80s dance party and see what they're up to tonight.
Nice.
Woo! Have a good night, everybody. See you next time. I should have started the raid like while I was yapping, so it'd be like perfectly timed. Sorry. There we go. We're raiding. Bye.